So welcome to Getting Real, guys.
Yeah.
Josh.
Yeah.
Jordan.
And we're going to use Dairy Queen cups to illustrate the difference between our financial status.
Okay, so we are trying to make episodes shorter because our last episode was 15 minutes long and we had to cut it down to
14 minutes and 30 seconds. 39 seconds.
Thank you, Mr. Riddle.
And that was cut down from about a half an hour.
And how many frames did that have?
I honestly don't
Several
think that.
billion.
I honestly don't.
And how many kilohertz was audio? 4.
I don't think many people actually know.
I don't even know what that means.
I think people did, whatever.
In
Okay,
terms of kilohertz, I don't know.
so we're gonna cut to the chase here. We're working on a new intro sequence because we really don't have one yet, except for the one about buying beer. No, it won't be.
It won't be.
But it might be on the next one, so
Just
there
maybe
you
you
go.
gotta keep.
Alright, today we've got Watchmen and Halo Wars to review.
Is that our idea of the cliffhanger?
Yeah.
It might be on the next episode, so watch
You
it.
might want to look forward to it.
Exactly. Wait.
Maybe.
Well, if you're interested in this random stuff we're doing.
Which, if you're watching, you probably are. So here is the Halo Wars review.
What was that company that always...
For the few among you who don't have it yet, Halo Wars is a real-time strategy game made to help keep the Halo series alive. But for what may seem like a sloppy attempt to make more money, it's actually another example of Bungie's high standards. I absolutely loathe real-time strategy games. I find them excessively boring. But Halo Wars is the complete opposite. So much that I lost track of time playing it. But for all the time they put into this, they could have at least made the camera a lot easier to use. It was tug on your hair frustrating to try and select enemies to target thanks to an awkward control scheme. This could have easily been solved by making a PC version so we could just comfortably use a mouse, but no, it's an Xbox exclusive. Despite how much better it could have been if it were on PC, or if the camera worked the same way as in Halo 3's Forge mode, you can still get used to it after playing for a while. This complaint is by no means enough for you to decide not to get the game, however. In fact, that's really my only complaint. As for graphics, the cutscenes are beautiful, as you can see for yourself. There's really no other way to put it. The graphics in-game aren't bad either. Everything is full animation and physics, which makes it that much more immersive. As for gameplay itself, it's pretty much exactly what you'd expect. Build a base, get steady resources, make troops, upgrade a base, get more upgrades for troops, get vehicles, then go get yourself another base by force. Yet, I've always found RTSs to put me to sleep faster than elevator music, but not with Halo Wars. I know, it's not just because I'm a Halo fanboy, but because there's just a formula about this game that works. To sum it up, this is a very time-consuming game, so if you don't have long hours of spare time to enjoy playing it, then save your cash. If you do have lots of free time though, then go ahead and make this purchase. You'll enjoy it. And if you're one of those Halo fanboys I mentioned earlier, then why are you watching this instead of playing it?
Somebody say welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back from...
No.
We did not do that.
Okay. So if the game alone wasn't enough for you, for $20 extra, the limited edition comes with 3 new maps for Halo 3.
And what else? What else?
Jordan.
It has a comic book
Batman comic book.
that the leads are like obese out of their mind, and a woman translates the Covenant language in 3 days. Actually, more like 10 panels, and then she translates it. What else happens?
I didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
No, that was basically it.
Oh, there's a lot of
You-
crappy.
you- you-
There's a lot of crappy
You're not
trading cards.
You're
in
not.
there, too.
You're not
Oh, yeah.
persuading them. This isn't persuasive. Okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
he has a review of Watchmen.
It's not in the right direction. Guys, this is a review I put a good 3 hours into, so I hope you can enjoy it.
3 hours, 3 hours.
3 hours.
Who watches The Watchmen? Turns out, as of Friday, we do. One of the most anticipated films of 2009 is within the top 5 grossing films of all time. Since the original graphic novel, was first published in 1986, it's accumulated a massive cult following style fanbase, one that has struck fear into the hearts of Zack Snyder and Legendary Pictures alike. This ensured that they were basically true to the comic's structure. Should they have chosen otherwise, the consequences would have likely been fatal. So, aside from a few cuts for time and modifications to modernize some of the more out-of-date presentation of the original, it was basically verbatim. So, Watchmen. It's an alternate timeline during the Cold War, and superheroes that came about in the early 1940s are now nothing but relics of the past. Nixon is serving his 5th term, as if to allude to the dark future of our current president, and has put the final nail into the coffin of the superheroes' golden age. Historical flashbacks are summed up right off, ones that were once riddled throughout the graphic novel, which was a nice reorganization of story flow if you ask me, though the more zealous fans would say it destroyed the subtle hints that paralleled the running plot. Honestly, in the context of a motion picture, the film's approach was more fitting, looking at how true to form they were in the remainder of the production, even going as far as to include the almost pointless Bubastis character. I'd say even the most stubborn should forgive the introduction. I should mention at this point that none of the heroes actually had distinguishing powers, with one notable exception, one that probably makes up for everyone else's lack thereof. So, this is not your classic clean-cut superhero adventure. This is a morally gray follow-up to the hero's more typical lifestyles after retirement. During this time, the world isn't better off. In fact, it's worse. And the basic theme is these people's kind of revival to their former glory to truly save the world. One of the first things that really caught my eye and impressed me was the almost obsessive attention to detail. Things that only the props guy would notice were littered throughout, and you'd probably have to see the movie 4 or 5 times to truly appreciate the work that went into this. It makes this crazy other world seem almost reality, but sometimes this realistic otherworld portrayal goes too far. I mean, there are more breasts in this movie than a typical porno, and I got more than a little sick at some of the gorier fight scenes. What's that? Staying true to character. Listen, folks, what was one panel in the comic graphic novel is suddenly a 10-minute sequence. That's unnecessary. Now, I'm not complaining about the totally badass Rorschach fights. It was nice to see realization that surpassed even my Matrix-inspired, bullet-time-infested imaginings of what I read in the book. In fact, I wouldn't have complained if that took up the entire 3 hours. Oh, and back to unnecessary realism. Let's talk about the man with all the power, Dr. Manhattan. He was totally nude, which was fine in the comic. Something was always conveniently blocking his private parts, except one scene where readers had to endure the 2 simple lines that were his genitals. But now, in the age of total tolerance and advanced graphics, we got the super realistic pleasure of swaying dongs in every scene he appeared, which replaced the unsettling moral dilemmas with a different unsettling dilemma. And talking about unsettling, when we see a sex scene, we don't need to be there experiencing it with the couple. Close-ups are generally a hallmark of porn, and not of an epic professional movie. Thus, time that could have been spent fleshing out Rorschach's psychological, deep back-and-forth discussions that revealed his dark past is replaced with 3 blue guys having intercourse with some character. Now, most reviews don't go into much detail on the music, which normally acts as a nice enhancer to the scenes, a background if you will. But in this movie it seemed to detract. I was sitting there thinking about how only a film of this quality could get away with such unfitting tracks. Minus the beautiful opening with "The Times They Are A-Changing" by Bob Dylan, the rest seemed like a random assortment of music chosen from their most played list on iTunes. Well, guys, that's all I can say, or criticize at least. It was a really good film, but I'm not here to praise it. If I was, my review would have been longer than the movie itself. So I recommend that you go out and watch The Watchmen. It's amazing. It'll make you rethink your basic morals and duties of a hero, as well as your standards of awesome. 9 out of 10, guys, but only because I'm stubborn and saving 10 for some unrealistic future god film. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, guys, I hope you have a better understanding of Watchmen and why you should go out and watch it, like tonight or right now, even if you're like in school or playing with your child.
In which case, you should be watching this.
With your child, you should just cut down everything and go watch Watchmen because it is amazing. And I hope you enjoyed my review as much as I'm enjoying this amazing super banana sundae.
You know, I could really use a Dr. Pepper right now. I just can't get enough of that refreshing taste.